Well, good hump day afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope you're all having a great day. It is the very first press conference with Christen Parker, and it happens to come on the same day that I have the Dan Selio show. So we've got the Dallas Cowboys, of course, Go Cowboys, music that drives me crazy. And I'm sitting here listening to the Dan Selio show, and they're, of course, talking about the Cowboys, of course. And we'll be definitely knee-deep in that coming on at 4:30. So I'm hoping the Cowboys get this press conference going so I can start looking at this and talking about that before I have to do the Dan Selio show. Either way, we're going to catch it, and we're going to get the gist of it. All the way around. So let me go ahead and at least we'll get the press conference. We'll get that up here. And in the meantime, Jeff Lee, my name is Jeff. What's up, Jeff? How are you doing? King Real. What's up, King Real? How are you doing? I am happy to be here with you guys. I just got back from working over at the house. We got Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction. And my brother actually working on heating and air conditioning, and once we're done, I've got to go back over and check on them. So, any thoughts by anybody? How are you feeling about this press conference? It's already a couple minutes late. I'm going to listen in on the Dan Selio show here, too, so I can get the gist of what they're talking about today.
With two first-round corners on the team.
Well, one's a slot. I'm talking about getting it.
No, I there's a spot for him, but I don't know about. Asset allocation is more what I'm looking at here.
Well, here, you move off Phillips, you sign Chubb, you put him out there. There's your 23.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't you get better in the masses?
You sound like you don't want to pay Jalen Phillips.
I want him on the football team bad, and I'd love to, Kai. You know I do.
They don't have the money.
You don't want you don't like the number.
I know Drew Rosenhaus. It's not Phillips. I believe Jalen Phillips wants to play in Philadelphia and for Vic Fangio, but you know what he's going to do? He's going to tell him, we're paid. Getting the best deal for you and your family. You get hurt sometimes. You've missed some games in your career. I'm getting you the best deal possible.
Especially a guy with two big injuries.
That's correct. He's going to put it out there for him. Hey, listen, you want to stay in Philly? You can play 3-4 years there, and they love you and want you. Or you can go to Tennessee and sign for $24 million, $24.5, and get a bag of money up front, and everything said and done, you made your money. What do you want to do? And Drew's notorious for that, dude. I know the agent. It's not really the player. I know the agent.
Right.
Okay? What'd you make of my Mike Evans conversation?
About what refresh me. I was doing some
All right.
shit.
YouTube acting weird. I didn't even see Mark being live at first.
Mike Evans'
really?
agent,
After the meltdown yesterday, that's a shame.
Mike
Damn.
Wants to come back, and he wants to play.
Hopefully they get the stuff ironed out.
I think Mike's got at least 2 years left in the tank where I think he's a really good player. Is he Mike Evans of a couple years ago?
I'm getting tired of waiting here, man.
Do I think this guy,
don't want to lose any
Is he
time.
Julio Jones? No, not that. Remember, you hurt a shoulder, not a knee or an ankle or a foot, what have you. He wants to play. My question would be, let's say you lose AJ. You need a presence out there. You can't just sign a dude. You got to cover Mike Evans.
What do you think his market value is? Because I don't hate the idea at all.
Okay.
Isn't he injured?
Now, would you be willing to pay $20 million for that?
Ooh, that's a lot.
Even if AJ redoes his deal so they can you're saving 12.
No, you're right about that. But there's 6 minutes. Let's hope it's not like, maybe maybe after the Dan Selio show, then we'll get it.
People were talking about moving off AJ. You
I
got to
know.
put a presence out
Yeah,
there.
you got
just
to. I
can't
agree.
put
This
a
is where
dude
I
out
agree with
there.
you. You're
If
not
they
gonna
move
replace
on
him with
from
a draft
AJ and don't have a
No.
plan B,
I'm not
they're
fearing
The
screwed.
market value, it says, and I think this is way too low, but is 13.3. I think that's
Okay.
low. I think he's going to be 16 plus.
I think he's going to be like 15, 16, 17. Would you do it around that number? Remember, the cap's going up a lot, dude.
Yeah, I'd probably
No,
consider.
this is if you
Sure.
move off him.
Do you think he's a fit here? And then what kind of injury concerns do you have with him? Because if I
Zero.
recall,
He's
he's got
injured.
some.
No, he
He
doesn't.
missed. Well, I know. Yeah, he had the
Linda,
collar. He
welcome,
doesn't miss many
lovely
games.
Linda.
Look at the record.
He missed 1 week in 2021 with COVID. He missed 2 weeks in 2019 with a hamstring, and last year he missed, I think, 7 weeks with the collarbone.
Because he hurt his collar.
Broke the collarbone.
He's a very healthy guy.
Yeah,
He doesn't
look
miss
at dumbass Senor. Do you try and always be this dumb? Mike Evans gets hurt. This guy's like got a crazy career of not getting hurt. 12 years in the league, he's got a list of 3 injuries, and 2 of them are 1 week long.
And one was a shoulder, not a knee.
I mean, come on, Senor.
The haters
He
out
has
there,
a history.
man.
You mean he
Damn.
has a history?
Senor.
He has a history of production. That's what he has a hit. By the
We
way,
better pay Pickens.
Mike
I'm
Evans
with you
called
on that
it a
one.
Career today, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't you want? If you're replacing AJ, I'm replacing him with a presence. By the
I
way,
agree with you on that perspective for sure.
AJ Brown with Devontae Smith, bro. You imagine the impact he would have on all your young wideouts too, that you would bring in. Dude, he is a great locker room guy. He's not going to bitch about targets. You know why? Fucking this guy, he's got all his targets. He's got all his numbers. He's got all of his records. He's got 100 catches.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, guess what?
He wants to win.
He wants one more ring. That's what Derek Gilmore told me. He wants to win.
One
He
more
asked
ring.
me, what do you think Philly would do?
Now, here's the question. Here's another. All right, so on that, he wants to win again. And this is a big question, and I think everybody should think about this if you're listening.
Come on, Cowboys.
For somebody that wants to win, a year ago, this wasn't a question. If you wanted to win, coming to Philly was a great option.
Yep.
And that was widely believed across the league.
Yep.
Do you think that belief still exists? I do, but I'm asking the question.
If I'm AJ Brown, winning is not enough anymore. Legacy's more.
Yeah, but for Mike Evans, who wants to win, that's not what I asked. I asked if you're a guy who wants to win.
Yeah.
Forget the legacy. Is Philly still a marquee spot? Or do you think Mike looks and says, I don't know, man, that's a whole new offensive staff. They've really struggled on that team. I think their best days are behind them.
Really? Well, who's the new passing coordinator again?
Josh Grizzo. Oh.
Where was he last?
Did Mike like Josh?
Yeah.
Loved him. Never thought he was.
Right?
Never thought he was the problem. Never thought he was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Mike Evans was running off the field after Atlanta and said this: 3rd and 28. 3rd and 28. Defense gave a 3rd and 28 up, or they win Atlanta. They win the South. Mike was pissed at the defense. He wasn't pissed at the offense.
All right.
Josh Grizzard, if he had played a full season, Mike would have got 1,200 yards this year. Okay? He would have. He would have had another 1,000 yards. He would have broke Rice's record. I think he's got here. I'll make a is he as good as Devontae Adams?
No, not talent, not like upside wise, but stability wise. I mean, you can make that case.
We're still sitting here waiting for the Cowboys.
You know,
that are
Devontae had
late
higher
as
peaks
always.
for sure.
I don't think he's as good as Devontae.
No, dude, Devontae Adams is wicked good. Devontae Adams in his prime is one of my favorite receivers.
I think you're dismissing how good Mike Evans is.
No, I'm not. I know how good he is, but Devontae Adams is pretty fucking good, dude.
He is. I mean, I think he's a more skilled guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's a more skilled guy. Doesn't mean he's been more successful, which he's probably has. But
okay, rank these decisions that Howie has.
Knowing the Cowboys, they'll start off
Jalen
at
Phillips.
the same time that I have to do the Dan Selio show.
Kobe Dean.
Good afternoon, Woke Yusuf. How are you doing?
Reed Blankenship. Dallas Goedert.
I'm hyped to see Christen Parker as well.
Jalen Hurts.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be missing it because of my obligations with Dan Selio show.
I added that.
I saw it. I can
if
see
you like
it on
what we
your
do
face.
here,
Like,
make sure you hit the like button.
I had to add that. I had to put that in there. I had to.
I got a couple extra dry leaves to throw on the fire.
There you go.
Boy, come on,
dry
Cowboys.
twigs. Rank them in terms of what?
Importance. This offseason.
AJ's got to be 1.
AJ.
Jalen Phillips got to be 2. Too hard to replace. Very hard to replace, I think, Jalen Phillips. It's probably the biggest thing. 3 is the quarterback. Because if you don't do the quarterback deal this summer, it's not that anything. No, there's no alarm sounded, but I think it does put a small. All right, the Eagles are in wait and see mode on Jalen, and I think that's a little bit of a sign.
Well, 4, I think that's an alarm.
4, I would say. Reed, simply because you don't have the replacement right now.
Come on, Cowboys.
I think he's the most replaceable guy in your football team.
Yeah, maybe you know what I mean.
You know what would be great?
Like Nakobe's tough to replace, but you do have. I
tell you what would be great.
That's where I'm like,
is that the Dallas Cowboys are late to this press conference because they've got George Pickens' contract agreement ready to go.
Oh shit! I did this,
and they want to announce it today. That would be the great. That would make me happy. That would
make Hurts the
literally breaking the internet today. I think that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't expect it to happen, but
but I think there's
hope for the best, expect the worst. You'll never be disappointed.
Wait, this is the Brady factor. Brady was always the last thing in New England. He was never the top thing. And this is how they won games. Remember, Xander, Tom Brady never was the highest paid player in the history of the NFL in New England. He only got his money in Tampa. When he signed that $44 million deal.
I don't expect that to happen.
He got his money in Tampa.
Don't
he was never the highest paid guy.
But I wonder why they're late.
And it afforded New England
because they're the Cowboys. They want everybody to be
all that
waiting
lateral
for them.
move, be able to move guys around and build the football team. Hurts' strength that he has right now, and you know what his value is? His deal. His contract is his value because he's not demanding a new contract. He's not demanding restructuring. They're not even off. Get this. What's crazy is the Eagles aren't even offering it. And you know what I think that has a lot to do with? Bro, when you have a no-trade clause in your contract, this is what makes Bryce Harper, as Angelo said, a pussy. You know what makes?
Gosh, I don't even want to think.
You know what makes him so awful is that, bro. When Dave Dombrowski was talking about, he never went down the lane of trading him because Bryce has a no trade in his deal. Not trading him. I mean, by the way, the Philadelphia media not covering the Nick Castellanos deal. Now they're piling on. Castellanos is a dick. Okay, great. He should have reported it at the beginning that he was a dick, not after the fact.
Yeah,
give me a break, man. All right,
it's literally ridiculous.
Doesn't it show you how the media now is controlled by these teams?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've known this for quite a bit now.
Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Do you think they give any one of those guys money? And I'm going to tell you before you answer. I don't believe they're going to redo any of their contracts this offseason.
Davis or Carter?
Yep.
Nah, you're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong. One of them has to come.
All right.
And I got
still waiting for the Cowboys.
And Jordan Davis
at this point,
signed,
my hope is that they're really late and it kicks off at 5 o'clock.
And you think somebody will give him a $20 million deal for a guy who plays first and second down?
I think there's a lot of dumb teams in the league, and somebody's going to give him cash. Hey, you balked at me yesterday when I said 15. Now you're making the case.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I'm saying,
on the Perkins seesaw at the local park.
Hold on here, man. I don't. Okay. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. So isn't this the time frame you guys did that Zach Bond deal?
Yeah, but he was a 1-year he was a 1-year prove it deal before the year, so that was a different situation.
Okay. So am I right when I say this then? Correct me if I'm wrong. Jordan Davis is going to go into this year if they don't redo the deal. And he's going into his 5th-year deal in 27?
Shut up, Dan. Here we go.
And came away with a bunch of guys that I really hadn't worked with, had been known about them for a while. But I think this was really just something where we were excited to say, hey, take a deep breath. Let's get it right. I think we did over 40 total interviews, 9 of which were coordinators. He was the last one, by the way. He was the last Zoom that we did. And every impression we had with CP was just left us wanting more. The conviction that he has, but curious, his calm demeanor, you guys will get to know him. Just the way he carries himself is awesome. But really the process was thorough. It was long. Jerry and Steven, I think, they hung with me, which is great. We did so many layers of this thing, man. I mean, we got into concepts and techniques at every level. To hear Jerry talk about playing 4-eye was really cool for me. You know, he's going back to Arkansas now. So, I mean, I don't think they called the 4-eyes back then. But when we got into the weeds, man, and just every time we spent time with CP, it became very clear that he was the guy for the job.
Christen, obviously everyone wants to know, what kind of defense do you want to bring to the Cowboys?
Well, the first thing is we're going to be multiple. I think that whenever you form a defensive structure, it's about the players that you have. So core principles, I mean, will be a 3-4 by nature, but, 4-3 spacing will be appropriate, 4-2-5 in nickel, different front structures, coverages behind it. But I would say being multiple is probably the most important thing about
multiple fronts, like that.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. First, Shadi, talked about the trust that Jerry and those guys showed in you to lead the process.
Well, again, I think, Jerry and Steve and I, grew very close over the years. Just we had real conversations, as you know, Clarence, and spent a lot of time together. But we did this together, and it was awesome, and the process was awesome. And I'm not being funny when I say, to get, Jerry to be willing to sit in on 40-something interviews, was extremely – I was stoked. I was so excited that he wanted to dive deep into the weeds with us and go into the fundamentals and the techniques and all those things we talked about. And, we stayed in constant communication. And that's how you feel great about it. And like I said, like we told all the cans when they came in, for us, we felt like last year we were able to build a program on offense. And we wanted to build a program on defense where you're self-sustaining. You've got great coaches, and when we win, which we're going to win, and we're going to compete for Super Bowls,
Jerry and Steven
people come after your staffs. You look at what Seattle and some of those teams are dealing with right now, and you want to have the infrastructure and the people underneath to where, you promote from within more times than not. And so it was a great process, and they were in it along the way, along with a few other guys. And I believe in the process. I'm a process guy, and I think we hit a home run with this guy.
Yeah, it seemed like you were barking up the right tree. All the guys that got second interviews got jobs, and everybody loved him in their respective cities. But what stood out about CP that put him at the top of the list?
Again, the way he carries himself. He's wise beyond his years. I mean this. He's convicted. I did tell him that I was a coordinator at 32 years old. He's 34, so he's been slacking. I'm a little disappointed that I had to beat him by 2 years. But okay. I say that in jest because he's been preparing for this for the last 4 or 5 years. When you're designing defense, you're the pass game coordinator on defense. You're basically involved in calling third downs and giving those things. And I say it because it's real. He was the last Zoom that we did, and as he started talking, it wasn't just him talking about his watches and his shoe game. He got a serious shoe game. Yeah, he got a shoe room. You guys can write about that. He's got a shoe room.
He's got a shoe room. Okay.
But man, every time we talk, we just would get off a call or get off the Zoom and get off the interview, just be like, damn, I want more of that. And I think his ability to develop players is very obvious. You look at what he did in Denver, involved with Surtain, and you look at what they did in Philadelphia, obviously with Cooper DeJean and Mitchell and guys like that. He's done it, and ton of respect for Vic Fangio. He's cut his
lead commander
teeth under Vic, but he's not Vic. He's got his own convictions and beliefs, and that's what I love about the guy.
Real quick, congratulations.
Thank you.
What stood about the Cowboys for you, and why did you want this job?
I think when we initially started the process, you could tell there was an aligned vision for what they wanted in the position, where we wanted to go forward. Obviously, a great deal of respect for not only the organization, but the players involved on the team, having been in division for the past 2 years and having different times going against them. Significant offensive firepower, stayed up a lot of late nights trying to prepare for. So it always helps when you have a franchise quarterback and offensive skill players on that side of the ball. That
Dak was part of the reason.
But I think the biggest thing was just the alignment. You could feel from everybody in the building during those interactions that there was a shared vision involved, and people wanted to move forward in the right direction.
Christian, Todd Archer with ESPN. How ready are you for this?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Where does the confidence come from that you're ready to handle it?
I think confidence comes from preparation. And I think that I've been able to learn from the right people. So I think that when you've been involved with, different people along my journey that I've learned under as head coaches and defensive coordinators, number one, and then the diversity of scheme that I've been involved with. And then you kind of become accustomed to what you're comfortable with in your own ideas. You like certain things, you don't like certain things, what will work, what won't work. I think as you kind of get involved with different people, you kind of form your own identity. So when you have that opportunity, you know what you want to do. And I've kind of gone through that process internally for a great deal of my career. So I've prepared as much as I possibly can at this moment.
And obviously it wasn't a good year for the Cowboys defensively last year and what they did, but your thoughts on what is in-house here and how you can improve the guys that are already here as opposed to waiting for what happens in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, the game is definitely won and lost up front. And we have significant players in the front seven. And so I think that when you start with that defensive line room and what you're able to do in controlling the pocket, stopping the run, you control what an offense is able to do, and you're able to dictate to them on their terms. So you're not playing the whole playbook when you win first and second down. So I think it starts there. That's where the excitement starts. And there's several other pieces that have been proven playmakers. And we look forward to kind of bringing it all together in the next couple months.
John Machota with The Athletic. Obviously a big part of your job is teaching. What do you think makes a good teacher?
I think you have to know the student first and foremost. You have to know who you're talking to. What might hit one player's brain is going to hit different than another. So being thorough and being detailed, being very clear and concise in terms of your messaging, and when to correct, when not to correct. Sometimes players got to touch the stove. You just want to do it in a controlled environment. But just how to do that, the diversity of teaching, whether it's on the field, in the meeting room, Kahoot quizzes, physical quizzes, showing them video examples, having them teach in front of a room. There's so many different ways that you can kind of get in the weeds of teaching, scheme, technique, situational awareness, and really you just want to expose players to as many different examples because it's going to hit everybody differently in terms of how they're able to learn that.
We'll be joined with Dan
Selio. It might be for both of you, but as you were filling out the defensive staff, how important was that when you were interviewing candidates, the teaching aspect of it?
Well, I'll take it first. I think, I was impressed with Christian, obviously, through the whole process, but impressed me even more was when I saw him interacting through this process of going through the interviews for the position jobs, right? Like there was an alignment he and I had talked about before we offered them the job about, okay, well, let's talk about some things because obviously there's a very competitive field when you're trying to build a staff and there's good coaches out there. There's good coaches in different realms, but seeing him through the interview process, John, got me really excited about him as a leader. Him being, very comfortable having the hard conversations. That's what I am. I'm a person who loves to have hard conversations. And again, the reason we wanted to talk before we decided to do this partnership was to make sure we could have those hard conversations. And so I think that's something from the very beginning that I felt great about. Anything with staff?
No, I think that we, extensive search, very thorough, trying to just balance it. I think, compatibility is very important. And obviously the teaching element is significant, right? But you want to have the right collection of people by position, whether it's, what schemes they've been in previously, what they've done, their area of focus and expertise when it comes to game planning and all that kind of stuff with player development. And, we definitely feel like we have the right mix.
Is the interview process the first time you guys have ever met?
No, we met when we had joint practice when I was in Denver in 2022. There was like a little coaches mixer at Ocean Prime out there in the Denver Tech area. We met real quick.
See how smart he is? I wouldn't remember that.
Yeah, we met real quick.
Because you're old.
But that was just quick handshake introduction. There was a bunch of other people around during that time. But actually having, conversation and talking football and everything else, this process was the first time.
And you guys know this with me. Like, this is a name that I've had in my notebook for the last couple of years. People just kept talking about this guy from Denver and Green Bay originally, but Denver and then in Philadelphia, and so he was a name that I'd been, hearing a lot about for a long time. No different than Clayton Adams, in terms of, hey, if you ever get a shot, these would be names that you would be intelligent and smart to talk to.
Hey, Christian, Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram, congratulations. Obviously, your experience is pretty deep. Brian mentioned Vic Fangio, but also Vance Joseph, even Mike Elko. How do you see those guys playing into you building this scheme and call sheet for the first time in your career? And then where do you see your little nuances coming into play as well?
Yeah, a lot of them have a lot of similarities but differences. I think foundationally, Vic, Vance, Mike Pettin, Coach Elko, Gerald Evero all came out of a 3-4 structure. I think that once you get past that, from the fronts you build and the coverages you do and the personality on third down, red zone, you definitely have a mentality as a play caller, but I think that it's still going to be designed around the players that you have. So there's different nuances that I've taken from each one of them. And even people outside of that, as I've had extensive studies and you build relationships outside of the circle you've been in that you want to incorporate with what you want to do.
And then are you more of a guy that falls under the line of thinking of building a scheme around the players or acquiring players to fit the scheme?
I think you build it around the players. Of course, you want to have your core principles and foundational beliefs, but as you kind of move forward in the process, what do your guys do well? How can you put good players in highlighted positions? How can you create one-on-ones for certain guys? How you can protect certain guys? If we can win on blitzes on a running back, then we're going to blitz a lot. If we got good man-to-man corners, we're going to play man. If we have guys that are better with zone vision, we're going to play more zone. So, you want to build a package that has diversity and scheme, and then you want to, tailor it to the players that you have. And, of course, there are schematic fits. But I think the really good players are the ones that you can't peg them in a certain scheme, and that's the only way they can play football.
All of these
you want to have guys that no matter what scheme they're in, they can be significant contributors, and then you want to just highlight it around their strengths.
I actually think he's had more to do with it this year because I believe that
I think definitely want to stop the run and affecting the quarterback. I think are the two most important things you can do. You affect the quarterback by stopping the run. Sometimes affecting the quarterback comes through pressure. Sometimes it comes through disguise. Sometimes it comes through just the talent that you're able to have and the ability to play, play style. But I think those two things are where it starts. Because if you can stop the run, you can get teams in predictable downs on second, get back on track, and then third and long.
If they have a successful season,
versatility.
Yeah, I do.
If we're playing a whole bunch of 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s, usually those aren't the defensive
here's my problem.
Come on, you're
but if
wasting
you can win first
time.
down and you're strong on the fundamentals, we're getting off blocks, we're tackling, we're attacking the football.
Well, who hired Vic?
We're situationally aware.
I mean, Vic is a tough one to gauge because the organization's always wanted Vic.
So then you don't think Vic hired by
strong track record with corners?
Well, I think it's. Why would Vic say no to Vic? Give me that answer.
Here in Dallas, like a Savon Rebel or
Duron
Bland. What do you see their next steps being?
Because the almighty Nick Sirianni.
They have different strengths.
Of Nick Sirianni.
Definitely evaluated Rebel last year in the draft process. Had one of his teammates at Denver, Jaquan McMillan from ECU, so kind of had a little bit of intel there. But his ability to erase receivers in press coverage. He's very aggressive in run support, and he has the long speed and athletic traits that you want at the position. Obviously, coming off the injury, getting him healthy is a significant part of that, and him having the confidence to do so. And then Bland he's instinctive and he takes the ball away at a high rate. You saw that from Sac State to Fresno to now here. So very excited to work with those guys.
And everybody in the chat. Quarterback is a hamster in the wheel. The coach is a hamster in the wheel. This is the only team in the history of football that's ever had a caboose as a coach and a quarterback.
I think it starts with the coaches that we hire. Have a lot of confidence in Derek Ansley, Ryan Smith, and Rob Muschamp in the secondary to drive the bus when it comes to that and the development.
Player on the
obviously, my eyes are naturally going to start there when it comes to it, and I'm going to have to fight the magnetic force during individual periods that's going to draw me to the DVs and go somewhere else. But have a lot of confidence in those guys to teach and develop those players, and we're excited about that.
Too.
I'll go.
Look at Philly in the chat. Coach is a dope.
Watch this. Hang on here. Watch this. AJ, second one's Mulata.
What did you?
Okay.
Third one's Lane.
I'm going to have to
Fourth
pull off of
it. Devontae. Fifth one is Barkley. Sixth one's the quarterback. So fuck, dude. There's your hamster in the wheel.
Obnoxious. I know you don't even believe that Nick Sirianni's a dope. He is a silly dude, and he's not my type. I've said that 100 times. He's a weirdo. Mm-hmm. The success is the success. I don't know what you want from me.
All right. Do we have any?
I mean, you think? Wait. You guys really think 5'6" Howie Roseman in his little button-up shirt?
Yeah,
is the reason that the Eagles have? I mean, come on, come on. He's a big part of it, but come on, Sills.
I think Clive Roseman is absolutely
5'6" Roseman is the reason we got Super Bowl.
Hey,
shit!
All right, dude, I'm out of here.
All right,
you're making the boys wait.
I got you, bro.
You're just messing up my day.
We good?
We're good, brother. I'll see you. All right, man.
I got you, man.
You're messing up with James Slater.
Got you, man. All right. Yes, sir. It's Ash Wednesday. I got to be a good guy. Without further ado, by the way, Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to make a comment here before I bring in Mark Combs. And I think this is going to make Mark Combs feel pretty damn good. I think the Cowboys are 2 players away from going to a divisional round game. If they put Max Crosby on that team,
don't have safeties.
Or they put Max Crosby.
Don't have linebackers. Don't have good cornerbacks.
Okay, you got N'Kobe, and you have Max Crosby. The Cowboys are going to a divisional game, and get this, what could happen? Without further ado, one team on the up, the Dallas Cowboys. The other team in decline. You figure which one out. We bring in the legendary Mark Combs, one of the great creators of content for the Dallas Cowboys, and my friend, the legend himself, Philly.500. He joins us now here. How you guys doing, man?
Man, I'm mad as hell.
Listening to that nonsense.
I'm mad as hell, man. I tell you why. Because you had to do the show the same time we finally get the introduction of Christen Parker. It's going on now. And you know what? Oh. He sounds just like Mike Tomlin. Have you heard him speak? Deep voice and everything else. I tell you what. You know what? I have to say thank you, Eagles, because I am digging what I'm hearing from him. I definitely like what he's serving in the restaurant. When he says that, what kind of defense you going to run, he said, I come from a Nick Fangio system that starts with the 3-4, but we also do a 4-3. We will do some 4-2s, and we will cater to the talent that we have on the field, which is, because you get some guys that they have a system, and we're going to do the system no matter if I don't have the players or not. He's recognizing I've got a few pieces here, and everything's going to start out from that defensive front. So I'm enjoying what I'm hearing from him.
Absolutely, and I'm watching him right now. This guy looks like Mike Tomlin.
He sounds like Mike Tomlin. I was like, wait a minute. Did we get Mike Tomlin? What's wrong,
He
Philly?
was just another nobody with the Eagles. And all
now he's a nobody. No, Philly. No, Philly. You know, before the Cowboys hired him, you were doing the Philly shake. Whenever you're really upset, you just kind of shake your head and don't say anything.
I'm not trashing him. I think he's a great young coach. I like the guy. But come on, you were like, oh, well, who are we getting? Now he's Mike Tomlin, the great.
I'm just saying, I finally got introduced to him.
Let's see what he does.
Yeah, we'll see what he does.
I think he's
How
good.
about if he brings guess what? Xander said this. He believes that N'Kobe Dean's going to Dallas.
It's a fear that I have. Yeah, I could totally see that. And I think Cowboy fans are sleeping on Nakobe Dean a lot. I keep hearing it.
No, I've turned around because when you went off when you drafted Nakobe Dean. I will never forget you and what's his name going off. Oh my God, we got Nakobe Dean. But Nakobe, if he stays healthy, is a great player. I have to admit that.
He is a great player.
Yeah.
Wow, I agree.
Here's what I thought he was dog shit his first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Vic came in with Bobby King after that when those guys were hired and brought him in. I got to tell you, man, I'm wrong on his ability. But what I'm not wrong on, Philly, this guy's missed 24, 51 ball games.
That's the problem. Can he stay healthy?
That's been the issue. I mean, that's definitely the issue. But when he plays and he's healthy, he's a tone setter. I hate to see him go. I would love to find a way to keep him. I would actually try to make a play for him because how many more years do you expect Zach Vaughn to be here? So if there's any way I could do it, right. So if there's any way I could do it and keep Vaughn one more year, I would do it. But I don't think they're going to go that route. But I would love to. I hate to see him go to Dallas.
Mark, how much of an overhaul do you think the defense goes through? And do you think it really does look like the too high? And they look like the Fangio defense because, again, the Fangio defense, you got to have pressure.
You've got to.
You got to have corners.
Mm-hmm.
And most notably, as Philly knows, bro, you got to have linebackers. If you don't have linebackers in the middle of the field covering that zone.
And here lies our problem.
You are not going to play that defense.
Well, here lies our problem because I know you say, hey, if the Cowboys just go out and get Max Crosby, the problem is we don't have a second, third round pick. We've got those 2 number ones. If we end up spending, and from what you're hearing, at least they want, you can always want anything, but what it'll actually end up being. But they're looking for a Micah Parsons type trade, and I can't see spending 2 number ones. We definitely need more help at linebacker. Even if we do get Nakobe Dean, you still are a little bit short. We've got to get edge rusher, and we've got to get safety, and we need another cornerback. Now, I think what the Cowboys are looking, and one of the battle cries for them have been they want guys that are teachers. They believe they have some really young, raw talent and guys like Overshown, like Savon Ravel, getting Deron Bland hopefully back up to where he was, that they can get addition of players just by getting guys that are actually playing better than what they did. And Araku, too.
Philly, has Nick Sirianni made coming to Philadelphia as a coach undesirable?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And here's why I'm asking. Not a loaded question to you, but here's why I'm asking you. You land on Parks Frazier, 33. You land on a coordinator who's 34. You land on a lot of these young guys who really, if you think about it, nobody would have hired for the positions that they filled. These aren't people that were your number one options. Were they on filling the offensive staff? Or maybe you think they were.
I don't know. I mean, I think they did their due diligence with like Mike McDaniel. I just think it worked out where I think he wanted to be out west. Look, he turned down the opportunity to be a head coach in Buffalo, so he just wanted to be where he wanted to be. I actually think that what they did when their top choice wasn't there actually was better than what I was afraid they were going to do. I like the idea of going young and taking a chance with somebody with a good mind, maybe a new vision for the offense, and not just the same old thing. I think if you hired like a Matt Nagy or somebody like that, I think it's basically just recycling the same thing. So I'm kind of excited to bring in a young guy, and I actually think it is a risk. I think it's high risk, high reward. I actually give Nick Sirianni credit for that because I think it takes kind of balls to kind of be in a situation where you're willing to take a chance with young coaches. So I actually give him credit for that.
Mark, it looks like now I'm going to ask you about the impact of Christen Parker here in a second, but according to Adam Schefter, looks like the 2 teams that may be fighting for Max Crosby are the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'll take your thoughts for well, that's Adam Schefter. It's not me saying that. You tell me first, and then I'll go to Philly on his takeaway on that.
First of all, let's be clear here. It's the off season. So how do you get people to listen?
We're in the land of liars.
Okay, right. So, of course, you put Cowboys in and Eagles. I don't think Adam Schefter has gone to the Cowboys. Jerry said, we're all in on that guy and things like that. I'm going to say that that's kind of some bullshit. And for me, as great as Max Crosby is, let me ask you, how many playoff wins has he been part of?
0.
How about Myles Garrett?
I think 1.
TJ Watt?
1, 2.
Micah Parsons?
Maybe?
TJ
so we're
0.
Counting playoff wins now.
No. I'm just saying here is when you've got that guy, in the same way people talk about you can't pay a quarterback. The Cowboys have more needs than edge rusher. We had one of the best of the last few years with Micah Parsons. Basically, what you're saying is let's bring Micah Parsons back, that's a little bit older. If you look at the Seattle Seahawks, that's a complete defense. There's not really big superstars on there.
Every level.
It's every level. There's guys. Yeah, it'd be great to have a front seven, but I kept seeing 3rd and long every time completed down the field on these linebackers and cornerbacks. So I don't know about that. Now, for the Eagles, I'm going to say, how the hell do you give up a third round pick in the middle of the season for Jalen Phillips? And I hear you can't afford to pay him, but you can afford to spend possibly 2 first-round picks and pay Max Crosby?
I'm not giving 2 runs for him.
That's what supposedly they're asking for.
No
2
way.
As well as an additional player. I mean, we're hearing
I'd
people.
rather sign Bradley Chubb for $12-13 million.
That would be my move right there.
And hey, Philly, I'm not spending $23 million on Jalen Phillips. I'm just not. I mean, he's going to command that kind of money. I don't give a shit what people are saying. I know Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey who rep him. If you move on from him, don't you think there's a number, Philly? First, answer this. What'd you make of the Max Crosby that you guys?
I think it's very much real with the Eagles, very much real, and history over the course of the last 2 years proves it. Last offseason, they tried to trade for Myles Garrett. Then they almost pulled trade off for Micah Parsons. Then they tried to trade up multiple first-round picks to bring Myles Garrett in at the trade deadline. Obviously, this team wants an elite pass rusher. And if they don't think Jalen Phillips is this guy and they can make a play for Max Crosby, they're going to do it. Now, that doesn't mean all the money and everything's going to work out. But if you're going to tell me, do the Eagles have an interest in him? I think they will, because over the course of the last 2 years, they have been pursuing elite pass rushers. So why would it change now?
It wouldn't. Hey, the impact, and by the way, I'm also hearing and I'm watching a little bit too as we're all doing this. What do you think the impact Christian Parker has? And I'll ask Philly, what do you think the loss will be on the defensive side with him not being there? Or do you think because Vic's in tow that the defense will still be status quo? Because, again, they got great players back there in Cooper DeJean and also Quinyon Mitchell. The other CB2 is yet to be addressed. But first for you, Mark, what do you think the impact Parker makes?
Every move when you first make it is great. Nobody makes a move and says, this is just the dumbest thing in the world. What I will say is I'm happy that Christian Parker, when he was hired, young guy, okay, doesn't have the experience of being the play caller and stuff, but a guy, as Brian Schottenheimer said, that's been working on this, getting here for the last 5 years, and definitely has sights on becoming a head coach. That he didn't just hire guys that he knows, his buddies. He's gone around and they've tried to get almost a world NFL view and even college view of different coaches and philosophies. So that way, hopefully, it becomes a melting pot of different ideas of things that have worked, as well as relationships with players that may be elsewhere that you might look at and say, hey, we're getting the band together. Maybe let's look at the Cowboys. And so from that standpoint, I'm enjoying what I'm hearing. The first half of that press conference, hearing him speak, the way he's got no fear. He looks like a guy who's ready for, the spotlight of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what, Philly? And I think I'm not as pessimistic with you losing him, and I'll tell you why, and you tell me if you agree. Back in the day when Tony Dungy had that coaching staff in Tampa, you had Mike Tomlin on it. Mm-hmm. You had Raheem Morris. You had coaches all over that. Rod Marinelli. You had so many great coaches that were on that coaching staff. Monty Kiffin was on that staff. Mm-hmm. I think it's because you have Vic Fangio that, you're going to have a seamless transition, I think, going from Christian Parker. Not saying he's not a great coach, because I think he is a really great candidate, People are all around the league were talking about him. But don't you have comfort in knowing that Vic Fangio is the guy who's going to replace him? He's going to elevate, and they did from within. You got to feel a little bit more comfortable because Vic's there.
Yeah, didn't they bring in the defensive back coach
from
the
did.
Buffalo Bills? And he's supposed to be. I heard good things about him so far. So I agree. I think because Vic is there, I think it won't be as big of an impact. And I think also having 2 years of Christen Parker to kind of build up and bring up Q and Cooper DeJean makes a big difference as well. So I think they'll be okay. They need to address that corner position. But, no, I think they'll be okay.
Let me ask you one move about the Cowboys and what they did, though, by getting Christen Parker. Christen Parker, how long was he there at Philly? And he was
2
there
years.
He was there 2 years in Philadelphia, right?
I believe so,
Vic,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who has the advantage in that? You think the Eagles have the advantage, or do you think the Cowboys now have the advantage on game planning?
I mean, it's a good question. I would say it's probably even. I would think that Vic knows what Christen Parker does and doesn't do well, and I think Christen Parker probably knows what Vic likes to do in certain situations.
I'm kind of saying more about the quarterback, Mark, about Jalen Hurts and how they went against practice, scrimmages.
I
see.
I would definitely say he knows where the bodies are buried. And see, here's the other flip side of this, I'll say.
You do agree they hired him to beat Philly?
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, here's the thing. When you look at Vic Fangio, he's, 66?
67.
67. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's not coming out with a lot of new wrinkles and things like that. But what you're going to see is, yes, the pupil has now become the teacher here. He's going to come and develop his own defense. So you can't just blanketly say, I know everything that he's going to do, especially with all of these different coaches that he's got from different locations. But I think the intel that he's going to have on the offense, not that the offense was that hard to stop in Philly, because the offense, I wouldn't worry about your defense. I think your defense is going to be fine. The question is what's going to happen with your offense?
Mark,
Parker doesn't know what the offense is going to look like.
No, but he knows the guys.
He knows the players.
But those guys are very talented if you put them in the right position. So to me, it's how quickly can he adjust to what the Eagles offensively are doing, and how successful can the Eagles be on that offense? And to me, that's a question we'll just have to wait and see. But who knows?
Mark, if your defense finishes 11th.
Oh, my God.
If your defense finishes 11th this year, you win the Super Bowl?
Well, okay. Here's the thing. We know shit that changes fast in the NFL. Minnesota was, 13-3 the year before?
I just saw Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl.
And Sam Darnold left and won a Super Bowl.
That can win.
There's no guarantee that the Cowboys' offense will be as good as it was this year. For all we know, the Cowboys could do some stupid shit and trade, George Pickens or franchise tag and piss the guy off, and he just says, fuck football. If the Cowboys' offense is as good as it was last year and we've got a top 15 defense, if we don't make the divisional round, I got to turn in my Cowboys card.
Okay.
Divisional round, that's not really high expectation.
I'm just saying. Well, it is from where I'm sitting with the Cowboys.
That's like, to me, that's already admitting failure. You're admitting failure. You already know. You already know what's going to happen.
I said at least
they can have an 11th ranked defense, number one offense. They're going to lose in the playoffs.
Philly,
they're going to choke in the playoffs like they always do.
Wait a minute, Philly. Wait a minute. I got a question.
It's going to change.
So you don't wait a minute. So you don't believe quarterbacks can ever change the narrative?
Yeah, they can.
So wait a minute. Like when Matthew Stafford was 0-4 in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And he goes to a better organization, has better players on it, and he wins the Super Bowl. People said he could never win in the postseason, and he choked in the playoffs. Do you think he changed the narrative?
Yeah, of course he changed the narrative. And you could say John Elway changed the narrative, and you could say Sam Darnold changed the narrative. You can say all these guys changed the narrative.
But why not that?
For every guy that's changed the narrative, there are guys that haven't. And just because those guys did it, I can't give Dak Prescott credit for changing the narrative. He's got to do it first. Then I can give him credit. Can he do it? I don't know. That's the question. He has a chance, and as long as he's playing, it's there to be changed. But I don't believe he will.
Okay.
Mark, do you? I mean,
yeah.
All these other guys have shown you. I think Baker Mayfield has changed the narrative a bit. I mean, with what he's done, this guy was on 4 different ball teams too.
Yeah, this is true.
Sam Darnold has changed my opinion on how we look at quarterbacks. Bro, you could be 0-4, like he mentioned with John Elway. John Elway got smoked in Super Bowls.
Yeah, he did.
Got freaking smoked. He was 0-3.
But he made
They said he would. Yeah, but guess what? He was carried. He was a caboose in those 2 wins. Terrell
Davis.
I mean, to lose a Super Bowl, you have to make a Super Bowl. You have to win somewhere in the playoffs. You have to win a championship game. You have to get to a championship game. We're talking about a guy that can't barely get out of the first round. Prove it. He's got to go prove it.
Okay. We know we're not going to get any equal play here. This is Dak sucks. There's nothing that will ever change Philly.500's
with
mind.
You. I agree with you, Mark.
Why am I supposed to give Dak credit for what other people have done?
Because what I'm saying is that I saw quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford. I brought this up to Mark. If that defense improves, and to Mark's point, what he just said, if that can't win in the playoffs and you got a top 12 defense, this is fucking it.
Yeah.
This is
it's time to give it up.
Then he should have been done a long time ago. He's already had a good defense in the playoffs and still lost.
Okay. That doesn't matter. Move on.
Prove it. Let him
move
prove
on.
it. He's got to prove it.
If Vic Fangio leaves next year, wait, how many years do you think Fangio has in Philly?
Well, I think this is it.
Okay. Do you think the defense implodes without Vic the following year?
It depends who the coach is. It depends who your coordinator is. I think that the defense has a ton of talent, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So I think if you bring in a competent coach, competent defensive coordinator, I think they'll be fine. The defense has got a lot of talent, and they're establishing themselves, and they're pretty young. So I don't think it will implode. No.
Are they going to tag Pickens, in your opinion? Now, tag window opened, I believe,
yesterday at 4.
Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay.
And
we're not going to see a Dallas Cowboy
until the 3rd. So here's the thing. They're not in a rush.
Wait a minute. We're not going to see a Dallas Cowboy thing be stretched out until like the 23rd hour of this thing.
No, but here's what's happening with the situation, okay? Now, again, the window opened up yesterday. It's open until the 3rd of March. Okay, you've got the combine that starts next week. You've actually got David Melagetta, who's already saying he wants to get this thing going and done and over with. So the Cowboys, if the Cowboys had rushed to go ahead and do the franchise tag, that basically says we're not interested in negotiating. You're just going to say we're just going to put the franchise tag and this is it. We're done for the year. This, to me, is a good sign that they haven't rushed to do this. And the longer it goes before they do, I think the better chances of them getting a deal. They can always, at the last minute, flip it on there. But I think they're trying to actually negotiate in good faith and say, hey, David Melagetta, it's water under the dam. Let's go ahead and get this thing together and do George Pickens and not make the same mistake.
Hold on.
I have a question about Pickens.
Go ahead.
All right. So what? And I'm asking because I don't know the whole story, but I see all this leak stuff coming out now about how Pickens was fined all these times, and they're bringing up all these situations with how he wasn't maybe the best teammate or whatever in Dallas last year. Is that negotiating or they?
Supposedly, okay. So here's what happened. Supposedly,
I hadn't heard this.
It was Todd. No, hold on. In this day and age of AI and all that stuff, you got to be careful with what you actually see and you believe. The story supposedly came from Todd Archer. Todd Archer said, no, that's not me. So that came out. That went through the blogosphere and everything else on there. Now, I can go around and I can look and I can say, how about Stephon Diggs? Is Stephon Diggs better than George Pickens?
No.
Rashid Rice out there racing and wrecking a car. Is he worse than George Pickens?
DK Metcalf was the guy who got suspended.
DK hitting the guy. How about A.J. Brown reading the book on the sidelines? And Here's the thing about wide receivers. The good ones, they're a little crazy. Look at Michael Irvin. Look at Chad Ochocinco. Look at T.O. He's done nothing worse than any of those guys. And I'm not
disagreeing.
A guy who's got 1,400 yards as the number 2 wide receiver, I'll take that on my team over a Noah Brown that gets about 600 and is half the time flipping the ball up to the other team.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to tell you that agent, Jerry Jones, fucking hates that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Irvin has said it. He hates that
Yeah, he
guy.
does,
I'll
but
tell
you know what?
He's
a tool you got to use.
You better be on his best behavior. I'm telling you, Jerry is not. Jerry proved one thing to you last year. He'll cut his you-know-what off.
Yeah.
Because of what he did with Parsons last year.
When you got that kind of money, you can do that.
You got it, because you know why? I run Venezuela.
That's right.
Hey, Philly, what are you doing in the draft? What are the Eagles doing in the draft here?
It's too early to tell, but I'll say I have a feeling you're going to see defense more in free agency, and I think you're going to see offense early in the draft. I think you got to retool that offensive line. I would not be surprised if the Eagles go 2 out of the first 3 picks offensive linemen. So, you have Landon Dickerson contemplating retirement. Now we find out that Cam Jurgens, we knew his back was messed up. He's doing stem cells to try to get his back right. So you've got to reload on that offensive line, and I think you need to go there early and often. To be honest with you.
Hey, Mark, Cam Jurgens was down in Medellin with the Escobars, and he was working on his lower back down there, trying to, trying to get that back and rubbing that cocaine on his back.
Go.
I bet it felt good.
Say hello to my little friend.
There. Absolutely here. All right, here. Hey, Philly, I got a couple more here for you. Jeff Stoutland's departure. How does that impact the future offensive lines in Philadelphia?
I think that to me, bringing a guy back like Mekhi Becton now is like, it's not a sure thing, because I think when you have a guy like Stoutland, you can develop these guys. You kind of know what he likes. I think right now, we don't have that kind of guy to do that. So, it changes drastically what kind of chances you can take on certain offensive linemen, for sure.
Are you happy with Brian Schottenheimer, Mark?
I love him. I think he's a great coach, and I think he played the game the right way. He didn't hire Eberflus, and you can't go through and just cut the guy that Jerry and Stephen Jones did. He basically let him, I'm going to see Eberflus, and we're going to let him take care of this, and and so forth. Eberflus hung himself, and so that opened up the door for now. Okay, what are we going to do now? Because when you look at this press conference, I tell you what I'm more impressed about more than anything else is it's Brian Schottenheimer and it's Christen Parker. There's no Stephen Jones. There's no Jerry Jones. These two guys are the new face of the Dallas Cowboys. And it was Brian Schottenheimer and Christen Parker doing these interviews with all of these guys. Jerry sat in, of course, and things like that, but you can't think that Jerry Jones knew who Christen Parker was. This is Brian Schottenheimer. So sink or swim, at least he's getting the latitude, hopefully, to run this team on the field.
2 more here, guys. Philly, who's under more pressure in 26, Nick or the quarterback?
I think Nick. It just seems like certain decisions that were made at the end of last year, you had 2 years ago, the collapse, then you win the Super Bowl, then you kind of have like almost like a miniature collapse this year. And I think that the addition of going with new offensive coaches, one coordinator who has never called plays right before, I think that puts the pressure, I think, more on the coach than the quarterback, to be honest with you. I mean, I think they both have pressure, but I think it falls on Nick.
Do you think the Dallas Cowboys, Mark, are in the best position that they've been in 2 years with draft commodities, getting players in, building the roster? Do you see them making the hiring of Schottenheimer? Looks like it was right.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to disagree with probably half the people watching. I personally agree. I think you got better moving Micah. I think you got more
think
draft
in the long
equity.
run we will be.
I think you stop the bleeding in the run defense.
Yes.
You got to address some more. I think you got better as a unit, not just having one marquee guy and having him out there get run over by Lane Johnson every single Sunday when they play.
You can scheme against Micah.
Better.
Yeah.
They're better now. Do you agree they're in a better position?
They can be. The big question still is Jerry Jones, okay? As I was pointing out to Philly.500, if you look at the Cowboys, basically the difference of what the Eagles do and the Cowboys do is the Cowboys end up putting the restructures, the triggers in there for their players. That's why Jalen Hurts is already at, a $31 million cap hit this year versus Dak Prescott's a $73. The Cowboys will flip the trigger and get $31 million on it. The Cowboys can flip triggers to get cash if they want. Now, everybody's out here saying, you can't pay George Pickens. Well, we paid CeeDee Lamb with his new contract, $8.5 million the first year, $14 the second. You can do these things. If it were an ideal season, you get George Pickens done early, you end up kicking that money down the road, and you have that money in free agency because you can go out and get a Bradley Chubb or, maybe even you end up getting a Jalen Phillips on there that will definitely make you better and still have your 2 number 1 picks and have cash to be able to bring in some more people. That you can. If you want to bring in a Reed Blankenship, if you want to bring in a Kobe Dean, you could do that. The question is, will they? Will they be Howie-esque?
Why don't you just take our whole team out?
Okay. I'd be more than happy to take your defense. You can keep your offense, though. I don't want that trash.
Yeah. I know you want it. I know you want to be like.
I'm trying to stick that knife in your back there, Philly, and twist it a little bit.
I know you want to be like the Eagles.
Hey, what if they signed Jalen Phillips, Philly?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't know what to make of Jalen Phillips right now in terms of what do the Eagles really think of him? I haven't heard anything. Usually you gotta get signs like the Eagles would really like to bring this guy back. It's been really quiet.
Can I tell you why?
Did give, yeah.
Okay. Well, he's represented by the same agent as Carter.
Okay.
So Rosenhaus represents Carter and Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're trying to keep the crap as quiet as possible, according to Robert Bailey, who works in an office. So they're not trying to kick a lot of dust up. But the problem is that the Eagles are down on Jalen Phillips' production of a year ago, and they were down on him. Whereas the Eagles want Jalen Phillips back, and so does Vic. Vic wants him back. However, I got to tell you, I know Rosenhaus for over 40 years. This guy's going to go out there, and he's going to sell him this weekend at the Combines. And best offer, in my opinion, gets Jalen Phillips.
You want to hear an interesting little tad bit here?
Yeah.
If you believe in Pro Football Focus ratings, they got Jalen Phillips at a 74. Clowney, they actually have it at 79.5. Clowney actually had a really good season, considering that he didn't get signed until after the season started and came in out of shape with the 8.5 sacks and the amount of pressures. I think he ended up having 52 pressures. Just saying.
You know what? Sometimes with the numbers, though, Mark, I would say this. Sometimes a player is more valuable to a scheme than individual numbers. And when Phillips came to the Eagles, the secondary, Adoree Jackson got better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, final question for you, Philly. What do you do with Hurts? Do you extend him?
Yeah, I mean, I would extend them within the next 2 years. I don't know if they need to necessarily extend them right now. I don't know what the numbers are.
There's no guaranteed money after this year.
Right, but extending him now, how much cap space would that free up? It would depend on those kind of things. Otherwise, his cap number's $31 million this year. I could wait another year, but I mean, I think it's something that you most likely want to do. I would think, unless the Eagles are down on him, which I don't think they are, but we do hear reports that, rumors of they might take a quarterback, which would never surprise me when it comes to the Eagles. But I think within the next 2 years, but I don't know. I don't know what you get out of signing him early now. How much cap space do you get?
Let me sneak it in. Mark, do you think the Cowboys draft a quarterback?
I wouldn't. I think they might late in the rounds. I mean, we're not. If we're talking about heir
4,
apparent
5,
for
6,
Dak
7
Prescott.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, you only have 2 first-round picks. You don't have a second and a third, so it would have to be a late round because you always end up wanting to bring somebody in. I don't necessarily think it'll be this year, but I think next year they're going to be starting to look hard at being serious about trying to get a quarterback.
What about you, Philly? You think the Eagles go like 2, 3, 4, 5? Where do you think they land?
I think they'll take a quarterback, but I don't think they're going to take a quarterback
in premium rounds
earlier than 5. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll take somebody to develop. I don't think they're going to. I think they got 2. I think they got to retool this offense, man. You need at least 2 offensive linemen. You need a tight end. I think you're going to see a heavy early offensive draft sprinkled in a couple defensive players. And then I think you're going to see free agency. I think you're going to see them spend money defense. But I do think they are after an elite pass rusher. I know it costs a lot of money. I know people like to say they can't afford it. And I'm not saying it'll work out money-wise, but I think they would like to do it because history over the last 2 years have shown that when an elite pass rusher has been around, they've made an effort to get him.
How about this here, Mark? NFC title game. Cowboys versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship game.
I would love that.
Just book my ticket right now.
Yeah, I'll be there. I don't care where it is. You know I'll be at that game.
Ain't no way Dallas getting a new title game, though. I mean, it's just December comes. You know what happens in December.
So wait,
I showed you guys.
Would you put 11+ wins still on this Eagle team going into this year?
Yeah. I would.
I got 7 to 9 wins.
I actually think things are going in the right direction.
Oh.
To be quite honest with you. Listen.
Everything's fine.
And I talk about this.
Burns down.
Hey, what is every Cowboy fan? What are they all crying about? Please trade AJ Brown. Please trade AJ Brown.
No, I'm hoping you keep him. I like him being the distraction that he is.
Please keep the same coaches from a year ago. You know what? The Eagles right now are doing the things they have to do. It looks like AJ Brown's coming back. Looks like their offensive linemen are trying to get stem cells and get healthy. They know they got to fix their offensive line.
Good luck with that.
They know they got to fix their offense. And the most important guy you have to sign right now, Jordan Davis. Got to get Jordan Davis extended.
Hey, Mark, he's getting embryo injections in his back. and I'm like,
hey, look, Peyton Manning, didn't he play like 2 more years with them things?
Remember, too, Christian McCaffrey went overseas and did something with his knee or something, right?
Yeah.
Manning couldn't turn his head.
Yeah,
right?
but he was playing quarterback, not offensive line, bro.
Hey, you know what Cam's doing, right? He's chasing them big booty Brazilians.
There you go.
That's what I'd be doing down there.
Well, he ain't holding up a block for more than 2 seconds.
A block of what? Coke down in Medellin?
There you go.
Hey, guys, I appreciate you very much. Big day for you, Mark. You got yourself the next Mike Tomlin.
Maybe. We'll see. We will see.
Billy.
Mike Tomlin.
You got
Mike
yourself.
Tomlin. Then they're going to get Jalen Phillips, and it's the next, Michael Parsons. Here we go.
Bradley Chubb,
Billy,
man. Bradley
Yeah,
Chubb.
Dory Jackson. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Take a Dory Jackson.
Fabulous, guys. I appreciate these men very much, man. Absolutely great stuff. All right, let me get back here. And absolutely killing it, man. Yeah, he's down there chasing them big booty chicks. That's what he's doing. Heard it was Colombia. Those women are smoking, too. Boy, they are. Ain't no way Jurgens is going to be any good when he comes.
All right, so there we have it. We've listened to, of course, the Cowboys started late, so now I'm going to have to go back through and get the highlights on Christian Parker. I've got to say, what I heard on Christian Parker, his attitude, his knowledge, he didn't look like he was nervous, scared, or anything else. It looks like he is commanding this opportunity, and I just can't wait. I am just about as happy as I can be, and we will have more on Christian Parker. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys, and I will see you real soon.